the exclamation mark mind, the spirit mind, you should try flipping your keyboard upside down to see what you can see. Quite fascinating. In a literal sentence or two, coincidence takes on many intent ions in ioshans, intentions, where one is torn in duality on the head or the tail of their own drag on, where their spirit breath grow of the I am, rim, is still spinning in the constant ego coin tosses. I'm hoping by now you're beginning to see the magic of this and how we are all spellbound due to emotions, emotions, or consciousness mote, ions. I have covered these things in countless shows and writings, so if your intention is to be spiritually free, you will take the time to read and listen. I am long wearied by the emotional types that feel the need to insist that I am lying to them, where perhaps they need to also put everything on the line to stand in truth. An ego will never accept an answer as true because it has already formulated its own excuses and justifiers, where it simply cannot hear truth, since all they've been used to all their lives are lies from a broken mirror of this material world. So you see, it's all your fault and not your fault at the same time. As a personal example to illustrate this point, I was asked the other day from someone in a pure emotional ego program if I missed my kids or not. Well, one, that is simply a retarded question, given that it was for my children and loved ones closest to me that I set out on this path that encompassed all humanity. Contained within the question itself is an assumption created that somehow I did not, but then that is simply judgment from a polarized dragon. Regardless of how I will answer any questions, Q stuns or K stuns, K, French, yeah, QUE, an assumption or presumption that is and was already there. So I'll say that just in a literal sense so you get the concept. Regardless of how I will answer any questions, an assumption or presumption that is and was already there. The master asks questions from within and makes statements without, where the slave asks questions outside for another master's statement taken within. Again, sheer insanity. If one is in a state of knowing, where is the need to ask anyone else questions other than to see where they are on this scale of master to slave and slave to master? You might want to question why within as to why the Rosicrucians, Red Cross, Emotional Cross, Maltese Cross, etc., copyrighted the question mark symbol. Nice hook of the dot once you flip it over. I put my infinity on the line as far as standing in truth, so I'll give anyone and everyone the make I straight, magi straight answer. As I said earlier, take the G hex out of words and put your spirit back in to see the magic for yourselves. The make I see. It's in the sounds. You know what I mean when I say make I see, right? For someone to ask a question of the nature regarding those I love shows the mirror of what the one asking the question is separate from love. I and only I know my intentions, where others can only accept, assume, or presume, where most are making an as you, me, or an as-is intention of magnetic electric that I simply call an ego imprint, infecting them as imprinted by another of its program ilk. The measure of your difficulty accepting this is just a measure of your own ego imprints going schizoid, multiple personality insanity. By now, you may have an idea as to how nearly impossible it is to break through this monster within, but I assure you I will do anything in any way I can to expose it for you at infinite personal cost. This is the allegory of the crucifixion. When one reaches any level of Christ consciousness, one is willing to be crucified by the very mobs they love unconditionally, where the emotional ego can always justify spiritual murder. Cain murdered Abel, remember? Maybe it's time for many to remove the spin cycle from their laundry and simply soak in the waters of truth in the dark chamber tub within, removing external blamings of others, assuming that everyone is somehow a liar first and telling the truth second. If you can see your hand the same way as starlings flying in a murmuring unity, then and only then will you begin to see this reality as pure anu-archi, or the heart light key versus energy, and ear hex, inner hex, finally, and get some of your create ion powers back. Mother Nature knows when her children are ready, and those still fighting, still jealous, still angry, etc., are creationally muted, being the mutants that they are, and will suffer the continual mirrors of their own mindless creations of the same anger, jealousy, fear, fist fights, and so on. And you wonder why you have conflicts in your lives. Are you willing to open yourself up enough to be attacked by those you love? To do whatever it takes to shock their raws into view? Can you handle the rumors and rumor mongers created from cross-pollinations of other egos going circular in a literal world that only see and live in the physical? There's nothing so painful as that, but the reward is a mirrored bliss if but one shall awaken to this singularity where the truth does set free. I get to spend inordinate amounts of time transmuting this energy as it appears as hate, blame, and all manner of filthy emotionals, but I know that I can handle it and be grateful, full, knowing the pure creational power it grants as a result. The imprintings of doubts are abating in rapid fashion as a result of this as well. The creation of the Pisces duality of I believe or I don't believe is visible. It would be a good idea to review my essay on Phoenician Starter Kit at kateofgaia.wordpress.com. And I'd hazard to say to read all of it if you have any intention of waking up. Mother Nature is not happy with most of her children due to their warring ways, and her patience, is worn out and coming to fruition at the same time. The clock has run out, and the tick-tock of Babylonians is crucifying her standing in truth kids. Perhaps those that miss the abundance I brought and bring them due to their greed and ego that still tries to equate things like money to spirit might miss it when it is no longer there. Then again, perhaps not, and then will create all manner of nonsense, degrading, berating, and ultimately stab me in the spiritual back, as they always do. No worries, because I will continue until that if but one shall awaken finally awakens to end this nightmare. As an example of ego versus spirit, the majority will see that as an arrogant statement of holier than thou, where the spirit sees unconditional love of thou art holy, but not quite seeing it yet. To put into words the countless crucifixions I've endured and continue to observe is as simple as the statement, fist fight, hold the light, or carry out the dead, or the allegory of the Christ mind between the double crosses of the ego thieves on either side. If you want to hold the light, you're going to be crucified, only that your intention decides your fate. Fa T9, consciousness, or the heart root note Fa in the law of truth and consciousness. Fate has a different meaning now, doesn't it? Here's how I redefine it. The heart root note in the law of truth and consciousness. That is your fate. It's all of our fates. No, have at her, kids, and grab your nail guns, because every nail you put in each other is a nail you crucify yourself with. Every nail you try and put in me passes through me on its return trip to you. I'm a catalyst after. Okay. Oh, got some noise. A Kate all eyes T, right? But then it's all about how you pre-now and say it, pronounce it, and what intentions are in the sound as spelled due to your spellbinding. Once you neutralize the energy in a word, you'll be creating a whole new world instead of the same old hole in you world, creating your external master's planet. Me, I got in the stillness to allow the oil of spirit to rise and sit above the waters of emotional ego, resting atop and never touching each other while the masses keep it swirling around them, creating murky cesspools of their reality. So please keep missing the forest for the trees, the true cross, and see only the negatives as your ego allows. See the broken axe, but not the firewood chopped by another to heat you. See only the greed of look what I did for you while missing the infinite blessings bestowed on you, where my mere presence raised the temperature in your house, and where I was only occupying a space you couldn't use while you were occupying another space anyway. If one can see abundance instead of ego greed, gimme servitude of material possessions, be it organic or inorganic, you'll begin to finally see the light of you instead of the emotional mirror reflection of ego, in the same way the moon, emotions, reflects the sun's, spirit's, light Then you can pierce the veil to cross the veil. The enemy your ego tries to make of me is the mirror of self one needs to see. The spirit of ultimate beauty within you will never fully hear this until the demonic possession of your ego program is silenced once and for all. You will no longer be afraid to come to me first, where the normal program of misery loves company, backstabbing, and rumor-mongering imprinting other egos while they imprint yours. You're only creating storms in your oil and water, where your anger is your Ankh aura and will keep your true ship, mind, from ever setting sail or ever leaving the peer pressure of port, Cain Mine left field. I am the spiritual whore of Babylon, BB law mine, BB being 1313, there's your Christ consciousness upon itself, where humanity as a whole are the blinded physical whores, serving only the physical masters, where all their golden mean spirit of creation is culled and harvested. So don't hesitate to defend yours, elf, because it is telling you exactly what you need. Hell, I gave you the fishing rod, where you were used to getting fish, and you love to hate me for it. Go ahead, because your shit flies through me like my camel slides through the needle, where yours is too packed to fight. Fit. There, see, fight, fit. Love this. The whole phi sound rocks. P-H-I, right? Phi. 21st letter of the Greek alphabet means God, basically, spirit. Phi. 777, right? 23 being the psi, the spirit. It's really cool. Finish the last sentence. Go ahead, because your shit flies through me like... No, I have nothing to talk about anymore with anyone stuck in this circular trap, so clearly exposed because their egos own them, and they are consumed by their own darkness, folding in on itself in an infinite downward spiral, deafened, defend, until they are finally deaf-end by the lights of truth. I see the end creations of my intent first, and walk accordingly where everything I do has a reason for positive outcome, and only those that are polarized see the negative based on vile programs running. Maybe the better question to ask is, do you miss my children? Where I will always answer you yes. I do, because I know they are me, and I'm only walking this road to bring all children home. Unfortunately and fortunately, not all will make it on this round, but then that's natural order, where only the fittest phi test passed will serve. I truth, I have. Fools to the left of me, jokers to the right. Or you can actually say clones there too. C-L-O-W-N-S can be pronounced clones, can it not? Yeah, I thought so too. So, fools to the left of me, jokers to the right, stuck in the mid-L with you, with intent. Exactly where I choose to be. My intent is pure evil in the mirror. Live. Every cut of 1,000 cuts is received in gratitude and unconditional love, and the blunter your blade, the better, because a true sword pulled from the stone cuts to shreds every time you try. Let me make a suggestion. That rock of Peter you're walking around with that has the sword of King Arthur in it, put the rock down and see if you have the strength to pull it out. This sword I carry now is weightless, just like the heart that wields it. Paper, rock, psi sores. This sword defeats them all and leaves them without a Piscean leg to stand on or a pot to piss in. Now, be a good little ego and run away, like in the Holy Grail scene. This is one Kasael, castle, key, row, keep, castle, keep. Your ego can't scale because you're still wearing the scales of the reptilian brain war mind instead of the scales of just ises. It's just a coincidence that the letters E and A are in the 1 and 5 spot in our alphabet, right? A and E are yin and yang in the mirror, long ago shown as such. Punch 1515 or 5151 into your calculators, and then turn it upside down and backwards. Now you see the world as I do, and your ego program will fight you every step of the way. A world full of pots calling pans black asses. Enjoy your mere ego, ro und. That's spirit breath of God, ro und. It only costs you immortality. Was and love. So there you go. It's